Hi, my name is Coldbeer and let's start with Desperados 3. You can kill quietly with a knife or take out multiple foes with your revolvers. I especially like the knife part, it somehow feels more personal and, of course, requires more skill. Scenarios Desperados presents are far from cliché, situations are quite original but also familiar with a nice vibe of Wild West. I say vibe because here you will fight not only in small frontier towns, but also in creepy swamps, riverbanks and even in sprawling modern cities. You can choose between non-lethal and deadly attacks, meaning that you can finish the game without killing anyone. I have no idea why you may do that, it's boring. I live my real life without killing anyone. Why should I do the same where I am allowed to snap a neck or two? For example, I am against hunting for fun, but I play the hunter and I slaughter all the animals in the forest for pure entertainment. You know why? Because they are not real. Duh. Anyway, Desperados 3 is like an old good Commandos game, but modern with amazing visuals and great quality overall. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. The year is 2029. Mechanically augmented humans have now been deemed outcasts, living a life of complete and total segregation from the rest of society. So you, being one of those banished humans, you are forced to operate in a world that has grown to despise your kind. Armed with a new arsenal of state-of-the-art weapons and augmentations, you must choose the right approach, along with who to trust in order to unravel the vast worldwide conspiracy. And you know what this conspiracy is? Someone decided not only to put pineapple in the potato salad, but to replace potatoes themselves with it.
Blasphemy!
Yeah, of course I'm kidding. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided is not a horror game. You will not experience such horrendous actions here. People on Steam are saying that this is a nice game with a nice story and extremely satisfying combat, but won't work if your internet is down. Yeah, it's one of those single-player games that need the internet to work. Not cool. Invisible Ink. You'll control the secret agents, and with their help you will infiltrate the world's most dangerous corporations. Stealth, precision and teamwork are essential in high-stakes, high-profit missions, where every move may cost you your life. You will start with one of the 10 unlockable agents, plus 6 agent variants and 6 starting programs to crack corporate security. Locations, threats and loot are randomly generated, so each playthrough is different. People on Steam are saying that the game is criminally underplayed, so I'm spreading awareness and letting you know about it. The game is kinda old, but ticks all the boxes if you like the genre in general. Invisible Ink has more than 90% of positive reviews, left by about 5,000 players who bought it.
Well, just like your sister.
Oh, shut up, how dare you! Anyway, this game may be what you're looking for all along. A Plague Tale: Innocence. Here you'll take control of young Amicia and her little brother Hugo in a journey through the darkest hours of history. Haunted by Inquisition soldiers and surrounded by unstoppable swarms of rats, you will struggle to survive against overwhelming odds. Dead, rotten bodies lay everywhere, and rats, oh, those creatures can and will eat anyone alive who does not carry a light source. As I always say, this is a bit
Unbelievable.
You know, rats are no vampires. I used to own one, it liked bathing in the sun rays.
Well, what if those are vampire rats?
I never actually thought about that. Anyway, keep in mind that the atmosphere here is grim and dark, so if you are a sensitive person, it may prove a challenge to play. Game tend to pull the ropes of emotion, and if you let your guard down and allow it to do its dark job, it will control you like a puppet. But in general, all that darkness is cool and original, keeping in mind all those airy-fairy unicorn games people are used to play these days. Alien Isolation. Here you are all alone in a giant space station and a xenomorph is hunting you. You have no guns, you are the prey, but despite the fact that you are a woman, your balls are way bigger than some men have, definitely bigger than mine. So you are being hunted by a creature of nightmares, smart, stealthy and built to kill. Sometimes it can take an hour without an encounter, sometimes you can feel it creeping upon you in the vents, sometimes you can hear it, and sometimes you just die because a xenomorph is not some usual monster. It's terrifying, really terrifying. The feeling when you see him launching at you from a distance will put your heart into your heels. It looks and moves in a way which somehow invokes the primal fear in your brain. To play this game you will have to have huge and hairy mental balls, because with time you may get used to the alien, you may get used to hiding and even to jump scares, but when the game guides you to the alien nest, and it's the only way to go, you will only wish that you had not 2 balls, but at least 4, or more likely 7. Yeah, 7 is good number. Dishonored 1 and 2. In these now classic games, you are playing as an assassin who is given supernatural abilities by a mysterious entity. Dishonored is a stealth game, although you can play it as a brute force lover as well. You just have to be way better with controls, because fighting multiple enemies is a real challenge here, and only the best of us can dance around the danger like that. The real fun of Dishonored comes in combining all your powers with your weapons and finding your own way through a semi-open world environments. You probably already know the fact, but interesting thing is that the genre of Dishonored is whalepunk, a subgenre of steampunk where most of the energy is gathered from the hunted whales and their fat. Not a safe place for your mama. Hitman World of Assassination. This is probably the best Hitman experience possible nowadays. You'll visit more than 20 different locations, unlock new gear, travel a living and breathing world filled with intriguing characters and lethal opportunities. With this bundle you will get Hitman 3 game, with 6 DLCs, VR mode and access to all Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 missions. People on Steam are saying that this is an amazing experience, very sandboxish and will provide many hours of fun, although it has one big flaw. You know, every witness asked about,
Have you seen anything strange?
will tell you about a tall, bald man with a barcode tattoo. Most of the time the tattoo is visible for everyone. It's really dumb. Honestly, have you seen anything stranger this week? If yes, share in the comments. Spill your tea. Maid of Sker. Set in 1898 and based on the haunting story of Elizabeth Williams, it is a tale about a young woman imprisoned by her father to stop her from marrying the man she loves. So, you have to save her. Gameplay is focused on story exploration and no weapon survival tactics. Oh, those are the most scary ones. A 3D sound-based AI system is the core survival gameplay mechanic. Hide, run, creep, trap and distract are some of the techniques you'll need to master to survive enemies with super hearing. As you progress, enemies become more difficult to avoid, to the point where standing still and holding your breath is the only option. Not for the faint-hearted, that's a fact. Serial Cleaner. Have you ever wanted to clean a crime scene? Yeah, I thought so, I'm not so eager as well. But this game lets us dive into this grim and, by the way, very well-paid job. Maybe after playing you will reconsider your career choices. By the way, it's not some official job. Oh no, you work for the Mafia and clean crime scenes for them. See, I said that this job is well-paid. A good cleaner never gets caught, so you have to make sure you get in, clean up and get out without leaving a trace of evidence for the police to find. The game features a funky 70s-inspired soundtrack, real-world data to modify levels according to the current time of day in your whereabouts, full story campaign and even challenge modes. People on Steam are saying that this is simple and chill game with very unique style, although be prepared to rage a little when you will get caught right before finishing the mission. Witch It. This is a multiplayer hide-and-seek game where you are tasked with seeking hidden witches that blend in with the environment. Well, or play as a witch and do all that blending yourself. At first glance, that book on a shelf may look innocent, but remember, witches can disguise themselves as any physical object, although if you turn yourself into a pizza, you will look kinda suspicious on the ground or in the bookshelf as well. You need to think where and how to blend in. Sadly, there is no ability to transform yourself into hairy balls.
That is sad.
Also, if you are a hunter, your perception skills will come in handy, that's no doubt. Here you'll also be able to craft new items or even your own maps to play in. Game may look a bit childish, and honestly it is, but it has around 90% of positive reviews, so a great time is almost guaranteed. Shadow Tactics: Blades of the Shogun. This is a hardcore tactical stealth game set in medieval Japan around the Edo period. You will take control of a team of deadly specialists and sneak into the shadows between dozens of enemies. Choose your approach when infiltrating mighty castles, snowy mountain monasteries and hidden forest camps. Set traps, poison your opponents or completely avoid enemy contact. Game has an overwhelmingly positive review score, meaning that for this price it is a masterpiece. Although keep in mind that the game sometimes may prove to be insanely difficult and some missions are beyond hard to crack. So be sure that you have not forgotten how to use that tiny, not very important organ between your ears, because you will need it more than ever. People on Steam are talking that if you like classic Commandos or Desperados 3 for example, this game for sure is your spoon of potato salad. Amnesia: The Dark Descent. This is a first-person survival horror game about immersion, discovery and living through a nightmare, an experience that will chill you to the very core. You wake up without much memories and stumble through a narrow corridors as the distant cry is heard. It is getting closer, and you somehow are pretty much sure that there are no actual babies in this castle. You don't know what will you encounter here, but the fact is that the castle is huge and you are not alone. And you have no weapon, you can only hide in the darkness. Funny thing is that the darkness makes you mad, and the light attracts nightmares. This is an absolute lose-lose situation. So in general, if you ever wanted to be an actual protagonist in any Lovecraftian story, Amnesia will do everything it can to make you actually feel the dread. It will make your palms sweaty and the hair on your back will stand up. The game endorses the Lovecraftian trope of madness as you travel deeper and deeper down the cellars and dungeons of an ancient castle. What will you find deep down below? Nothing very nice, I promise. The game is an absolute gem with overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. Styx, Master of Shadows. This is an infiltration game with RPG elements, taking place in a dark fantasy universe where you sneak, steal and assassinate your way through as Styx, 200 years old goblin. Here you will be completing various missions and at the same time avoiding detection. Sneak in the shadows, assassinate your targets in close combat, or, you know, orchestrate accidents. RPG mechanics let you unlock new powerful skills, impressive special moves and optimized equipment that will grant you spectacular powers such as invisibility, which is not meant for any creepy activities you just had in mind. You can also buy second part of the game. It is discounted as well, just be careful don't acquire the collection bundle that includes a DLC. You see, that DLC is just a weapon and an outfit, nothing more. Also, it's not cosmetics only. These items are quite powerful, so in a way it's a pay-to-win DLC. That is a blasphemy beyond any words. Thief Simulator. If you always wanted to become a thief, good for you. Dive into the life of crime, don't hesitate. You got this. Or you can play this game where you can train and become a thief before becoming a real thief. I'm kidding, of course.
Or am I?
You'll steal in a free-roam sandbox neighborhoods. You'll have to observe your target and gather information that will help you with the burglary. Gather your courage, take the challenge and rob the best secured houses. Buy some high-tech burglar equipment and learn new thief tricks. You can also sell stolen goods and do anything that a real thief does. War Mongrels. You'll fight Nazis and show them who's the boss. The storyline is history-inspired and will guide you through the journey of two Wehrmacht soldiers. They go from deserters to hefty guerrilla fighters when they realize that everything they were told is a lie. Sneaking, distraction, silent kills and using the environment are some of the main skills you will have to learn. But a stock of firearms will also be available and useful in completing mission objectives. Well, we all know how it goes. At first you will try to be sneaky like a ninja, like a wind in the grass, like a shadow in the forest, like a silent fart you let out in front of your mother-in-law. And then you mess up everything and go guns blazing. Sometimes you will succeed, sometimes you will die and repeat, or uninstall, depending on your mood and temper. Game also has implemented co-op multiplayer for 2 players, so you and your imaginary friend can play together. Also, what I like the most, that there is no censorship. You'll encounter piles of dead bodies, blood, and real Nazi flags. GTFO. This is a 4-player cooperative game. Good news for you, since you are obviously short of friends, the vacuum of your life can be filled with bots here. Playing with them can be irritating at first, but when you learn their mechanics, it's actually quite fun.
Said every lonely person ever.
Oh, shut up. Of course, game developers still recommend playing with real people since the game requires a level of communication and tactical combat, and a good strategy is necessary to win the game. Many of the creatures of GTFO are suspended in state of hibernation, so light, noise and vibrations can easily wake these sleepers up. Better leave your multi-purpose noisy vibrating flashlight at home, so if one of the creatures knows you are there, they all know. Be cautious when deciding on shooting. This game will truly test your patience, since it is a hardcore shooter and it doesn't have a difficulty setting. Although despite the fact that the graphics and atmosphere are amazing, GTFO can become quite repetitive rather quickly. Dishonored, Death of the Outsider. Here you are, a supernatural assassin with one important mission. You have to kill a godlike figure called the Outsider. As you can imagine, killing someone who is actually godlike is not an easy job, even for a supernatural assassin. You'll have to journey deep into the underbelly of the city, where you will unravel some of the lost secrets. Along the way, you will infiltrate underground fight clubs and black magic cults, and then retrieve... Yeah, the rest of the game's description is plain spoilers on Steam, avoid reading it. Anyway, as you hunt down the outsider, you will face off against a new cast of enemies along the way. Armed with your weapons, gadgets and abilities, you will have to take down deadly foes by accepting contracts to find and eliminate optional targets throughout your mission. So you are an actual hitman here, well, hitwoman more accurately, and the game has a very positive review score on Steam, so it's obviously not a bad game.
A Little Nightmares.
This is one of the best side-scrolling games I have ever played. Its dark and vicious atmosphere, strange creatures and grotesque world kept my attention for many hours. You'll help the protagonist to escape the maw, a vast, mysterious vessel inhabited by scary corrupted souls looking for their next meal. Not as scary as pineapple in the potato salad, but still, kinda terrifying. As you progress on your journey, you explore the most disturbing dollhouse playground full of secrets to discover. You'll reconnect with your inner child to unleash your imagination and find the way out. Creepy vibes guaranteed. Shadwen. This is a brutal title that mixes Assassin's Creed and Thief in a one game, kinda similar to Styx, Master of Shadows, but it feels way more indie and not in a good sense. Although developers are the same who created well-known Trine platformers, in general they are not new to this game creation affair, and that is a good thing. So here you are, an assassin on a quest to kill the king. That sounds nice, but you suddenly encounter an orphaned girl, and you know, you can't just leave her, because you are a ruthless assassin, but you're also somehow a good person. So this brutal game is filled with feelings, and that is never a good thing. Never. Who is the target audience? Well, but you may still like the drama, and if you do, the price is kinda nice. The game is a bit raw, bulky sometimes, but in general plays very nicely. So you can stab many guards in the back and still feel like a good person. Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew. So this is an all-new strategy game set during an alternate history of the golden age of piracy. The terrible curse of lost souls haunts the mysterious island chain known as the Lost Caribbean, which is under the control of the terrible forces of the Inquisition. They despise all that is supernatural and use soul-devouring fire to hunt cursed pirates. And you are in charge of those, so that's not cool. Anyway, the game is made by the same bunch of people as Desperados 3 and Shadow Tactics titles, so I can assure you that the level of awesomeness is pretty high here. Anyway, you will sail on a sentient cursed ship, which will act as your base of operations. You'll hire new crew members, pick missions to embark on, and do many other nitpicky piratey things. I was really impressed by the tiny details of the ship. Its design is absolutely awesome. A lot of time was invested in making it, although I didn't like the controls of the camera. I didn't like them at all. If I had to rate camera controls of this game in a range from a pile of snot to an awesome exploding supernova, these controls would be somewhere where the dandruffs are, so not so far from a pile of snot. But the combat was the coolest thing. The game is a participant of the real-time tactics genre, meaning that you will have to make your plan of future activities in your head at first, and only then dive into the real thing. SOMA. Here you will explore an abandoned underwater facility in the bottom of the ocean. You don't know what happened here, where everybody is, and what is your purpose. Although soon enough you will find out that you are not alone here. You will walk through creepy corridors, experience weird paranormal events, and all the time feel the hundreds of meters of water above you. And not everybody you'll meet on this journey will be willing to give you a direction or two. Most of the inhabitants will be willing to make a potato salad out of you instead, so be careful. If you played any Amnesia game, be aware that SOMA's gameplay is basically the same, just set in absolutely different place. SOMA has a great story, cool ending, and is a masterpiece in general. And now, thank you for watching, and don't forget that in my channel you can find hundreds of videos like that with new ones released almost every day. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.